Hey guys, this is Demonic Trilogy here with another set of spoilers from Born of the Gods. Today, Magic the Gathering released a lot of cards, so let's get right to it. The first card is Kiora's Follower. For 1 green and 1 blue, you get a 2/2 Merfolk that may tap to untap another target permanent. I think this has really good synergy with Springleaf Drum coming into the format, especially since Springleaf Drum allows you to get mana. And this will probably be good for mana ramping, so we'll have to see where this goes later on. Next card we're getting is Epiphany Storm. For 1 red, you get an enchantment aura. Creature has pay red, tap, and discard a card to draw a card. This is basically loot on a creature, which is pretty decent when you want to get rid of cards and draw for more answers. And this is also a pretty nice heroic enabler since it's only 1 red for the aura. The first of the gods is here, Afara, God of the Polis. For 2 colorless, 1 white, and 1 blue, you have a 6/5 indestructible god. You need Devotion of 7 for white or blue, and at the beginning of each of your upkeeps, if you had another creature enter the battlefield under your control last turn, draw a card. I think this is kind of strange how they're making Devotion on Hybrid God 7 as opposed to 5, because that requires at least 3 permanents in order to activate them, so they're probably not going to see very much play as creature bodies, especially since blue-white isn't known for its creature base, and the most that this will probably get activated off is probably Detention Sphere. The creatures not being in blue-white is also going to be problematic because that secondary ability doesn't seem to be at all relevant in blue-white unless it suddenly becomes a very aggro-oriented color base. The next card we're going over is Painseer. For 1 colorless and 1 black, you get a 2/2 Inspired Human Wizard. Whenever it becomes untapped, reveal the top card of your library, put that into your hand, and lose life equal to its converted mana cost. I think this is a really good ability for Inspiration. Again, it's 2 mana cost, which is the turn right after you can play Springleaf Drum. And honestly, card advantage is really good, especially with black, because it can overextend with Grey Merchant of Asphodel and Whip of Erebos. So I definitely think this is a really nice card for Inspiration. The next card is Faragax Giant. For 4 colorless and 1 red, you get a 3/3 Tribute to Giant. If it enters the battlefield and wasn't paid tribute, it deals 5 damage to each opponent. I think this is kind of lackluster in terms of its tribute ability because more often than not, opponents are going to choose the 5/5 over a 3/3 and 5 direct damage. A 5/5 is still pretty good for 5 mana, so it'll definitely be solid and limited. The next card we're going over is Orskos Sun Guide. For 1 colorless and 1 white, you get a 2/2 Inspired Cat Monk. If it becomes untapped, you gain 2 life. Pretty straightforward here. It's basically a bear, but it has also some benefit to it with the Inspired mechanic, so it's a pretty solid card. It's not nearly as powerful as Painseer, though, but we'll have to see where this goes in terms of Inspired. Next card is Everflame Eidolon. For 1 colorless and 1 red, you get a 1/1 Bestowable Spirit. You may bestow this card for 2 colorless and 1 red to give an enchanted creature +1/+1 and fire breathing. Yeah, I think this is pretty nice. The Eidolon itself also gets fire breathing, and I really like how they're making Bestow a lot more affordable because it hasn't been seeing much play in constructed format. The next card we're going over is Nyxborn Shieldmate. For 1 white, you get a 1/2 body bestowable human soldier. You may bestow this on a creature for 2 colorless and 1 white to give a creature +1/+2. Again, we're seeing this growing trend of cheaper bestow costs, and I really like that, the fact that it just comes into play as a 1/2 for 1 white, so it shows itself to be a very good, solid card all around. The next card we're going over is Sky Reaping. For 1 colorless and 1 green, you play a sorcery that deals damage to each creature with flying equal to your devotion to green. Overall, this is pretty much an answer to the mono blue swarm that we've seen so far, because they play 12 mainboard creatures that are flying. This will definitely be able to clear the way and get rid of a lot of their devotion base. You probably won't see this against Desecration Demon though, simply because Plummet is instant speed and it kills the creature instead of dealing damage to it based on your devotion. The next card we're going over is Ashok's Adept. For 2 colorless and 1 black, you get a 1/3 human wizard with heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Ashok's Adept, each opponent discards a card. Very EDH oriented. I'm not really happy with the body size, given that you're paying 3 mana for it, so I'm not sure how much value the heroic will give it over its body. The last card we're going over is Archetype of Imagination. For 4 colorless and 2 blue, you get a 3/2 enchantment creature, Human Wizard. Creatures you control have flying, and all creatures your opponents control lose flying and can't gain flying. This is a pretty hilarious card because you can essentially play this as a bomb and then have all your creatures on board get free damage off your opponent because everything that they have lose flying. So yeah, I think this is pretty nice. This is the first enchantment creature card we've seen without Bestow, so possibly there'll be more uses to the enchantment-oriented aspect besides Bestow. Possibly Enchantment Devotion, but that's getting way too ahead of ourselves. For now, that's it for spoilers. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you like what they're doing with the new hybrid gods and their increased devotion compared to the monocolored guards? And which card is your favorite? Mine is definitely Painseer because I definitely like how they're taking Inspired to a whole new level with Springleaf Drum and making it accessible right after playing Springleaf Drum. So yeah, thanks for watching this video and subscribe for more content in the future. This is Demonic Trilogy. Tune in for next time.